GameWorn Radio is on the air.
Hey! Shelton scores! Popping the Cordova, baby! We're going bowling. Now, let's go hunt moose on a Harley. The fires, he scores! L.A. face with an Oakland booty. Make me a bicycle club. They score! Bowmeister paid that man his money.
GameWorn Radio.
Hey everybody, it's Derek, GameWorn Radio, part of GameWorn.us. I'm here with Dion, Mario for a change. How about that? Bobby, Doc.
Oh,
we're missing Tom, don't know where he's at. Today we're going to talk about a few things that happened this week. Some things that maybe people need reminders of or refreshers on, or just simple discussion, the economics of the hobby.
Common sense.
Valuations of jerseys and such. That's a ton of fun. I also want to talk about TimberGraphs when we get a minute. I don't know if you guys saw those, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But first, let's talk about economics of hobby, huh?
Oh, yeah.
So that was a pretty fun thread. So pops up somebody.
Well, but real quick, let's put for any of the listeners that didn't follow that cluster of a thread, kind of set the stage of what was brought up, and then the massive explosion of comments.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, it kind of goes hand in hand with etiquette, right? So you have a collector who's looking for a jersey. Oh, hey, I have one of those. Hey, how much do you want for this? I want this. Oh, you're high, motherfucker. Nobody paid that shit, blah, blah, blah. Like, first of all, etiquette says you don't need to be giving it all that. That's etiquette, hands down. But second of all, who are you to tell somebody else what their shit is worth?
Well,
Now,
they're a buyer, so, I mean,
Well, here, Mario, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I have 20 some odd Glendenning jerseys, and I wouldn't sell any of them for under $1,000. So what's the value of these Glendenning jerseys?
You were describing. No, wait a minute. You're describing the value of those jerseys to you. That's the
what
concept.
value is, isn't it?
Yeah. So value is a very personal thing.
It
so
is.
A sale happens.
Value
when
to
price
you is
at or
different than
below-
value to me.
The sale happens when price is at or below the perceived value of the buyer, right?
Correct. That's when a sale happens, but that doesn't necessarily
That's
mean
correct.
the actual value of the jersey, because the value of the jersey is what it would take to have that jersey move hands or exchange hands. So if you're not willing to meet my value stays the same. That's the value of the jersey, because that's what it takes for it to move hands.
It's your personal. I don't think that's right. I think it's your personal value.
If nobody's buying that jersey and I'm willing to sell it for less, and somebody does come along and buy it, at that point the value of it depreciates. But if you came to me and said,
No, that's not right.
So if that doesn't make any sense.
Sure.
If I said my pair of dirty socks is worth $10,000,
Right. That's not the value of dirty
to
socks.
buy it. Value is not $10,000 because I say it is.
Right.
It has to be what someone's willing to pay for it.
how do you explain fine art?
You're mixing up personal value versus market value.
We're just talking value in general.
Well, wouldn't it also come
if I'm
down
not
to
willing to
who
sell you
own
one
it?
of these for what you want to pay, the value is more than what you want to pay because I'm not willing to sell it to you.
That's not correct. Your personal value that you place on it is worth more.
Right.
Right.
But also, I
Maybe
mean,
above market
you guys
value,
are
which is
getting
why you won't be
you
making a
guys are
sale.
getting caught up to a little bit too much, I think, on the requirement to sell. Now, yeah, there's market value, which is what things have sold for, but how can you tell me that something that I'm not willing to sell you for what you're willing to pay has more value than what you're willing to pay? Because you cannot get that thing for how much you want to pay.
Ask your insurance company what the value is.
I dictate to my insurance company what the value is. See, it's funny, I had a conversation with a guy on the thread about how my insurance works, and he claimed to know more than me about my insurance and claimed to know more than my insurance agent and my insurance adjuster. And the way my insurance works with my collectibles is I can say, here is the value of it, and I pay X amount of dollars per $1,000 of value that I place on it, right?
Yeah, but that's different because you're paying for that. You're not.
Yeah, that's right. They're not.
So that just has nothing to do with the value of what the item is. It's just a math equation for the insurance company.
Right, but again, value. It's my value. It's your value. Value is different to each person. What it's worth to Bobby is different than what it's worth to you, which is different than what it's worth to me. So who's right?
Yeah, but okay, that's very objective.
Mm-hmm. Value is an objective thing.
Well, I think that you shouldn't look at it that way. I think you should just look at what someone's willing to pay for it, or maybe look at the history of what someone has paid for it.
I agree.
That doesn't make it worth the true value, though.
If
Just as auctions don't make it worth the true value. The value of a jersey is very subjective.
Mm-hmm. That's right. It is,
but it's quantifiable. If you make a sale, it's quantifiable.
Well, I mean, if you take it into example, let's just use our examples. If there are, let's just hypothetically say there's 20 Glendennings out there, and that's all there is, because the NHL took some. Then Derek, because he owns 20 of them, he can set the value of that jersey. But if Derek has 10, and Bobby has 10, and they both have different values on it, now Marco has a choice of which one to buy, and that can set the value, the secondary market value of the jersey.
The value of your Glendennings just went down significantly, Derek. I'm sorry.
Well,
it's how? Because
I mean,
because get them from me.
We're mixing up value and price now. What is that?
I don't know what that is.
Oh my god, that is insane. Who's that?
What? Hey David, your background audio is
that?
Steady. Where are you? Are you in a room with kids or something?
Yeah, is they loud? Let me turn it on mute. Sorry.
Well, it's the same thing with the teams in the migrate who price the jerseys. Is that the true value of the jersey, or is that just the price of the jersey?
That's a price, and price and value are different things. So
value is very subjective then.
No. Actually, if you look up the definition of value, it is the monetary worth of something. See also market price. A fair or return or equivalent in goods, services, or money for something exchanged. So when we talk about the word value specifically is linked to what something is actually worth in an exchange. That is a lot of background noise.
So you're telling me in order for anything to have value, it takes two parties?
Well, it also depends if it's moved. I mean, if it's not moved, then how can it maybe it doesn't have real true value?
See, to me, value is a very funny thing to talk about, because if you look at the fine art market, you have people that place the value of something before it goes to auction, and it goes oftentimes much higher or much lower than that. So again, value is a subjective thing. Now, after the sale of it, then you have what your market price was. But the value was instantiated prior to the sale, which also has influence on what the market price can be.
I don't know. I mean, Derek, all due respect, man, I think you're talking in circles. If I think about, so look at GameWorn auctions, for example. The same jerseys show up there all the time and sell for different amounts. So how do you look at the different amounts? I won't use either price nor value. Tell me how you look at the amounts and the fluctuation in amounts for which they exchange hands.
Well, an auction is a completely different environment, because right there you're establishing a market price by the highest bidder, as opposed to a sale of, I would be willing to sell you this jersey for this price if you're willing to buy it for this price.
That's not value, though, dude. That's just whatever fucking crazy maniac wants to sell something.
Hold on. You're telling you want to tell me?
Okay, well, wait, Derek, listen to this.
My items only have value if you declare that they have value.
Let's say you have 20 Glendennings jerseys and someone else has one, and you want for each, you say I wouldn't sell them for less than $1,000, and that other dude says I wouldn't sell it for less than $20 million. Do you take the average amongst the value there and say now my jerseys are worth $50,000 a piece? Or do you say, oh, no, the lowest value is or the lowest price in accordance to what I would sell it for is the real value, or the highest price is the value? It doesn't make any sense, man. It's just it's for what it sells for. That's the value.
I think we might be a little bit off track in terms of, so if we come back to, rather than that, if we think about the thread that you brought up, Derek, whatever words we want to use here, because I mean, at the end of the day, these are words that have dictionary definitions. So rather than focus on maybe what they mean, let's think back to the exchanges, because I do think there's a valuable discussion to be had in that area, because it actually baffles me sometimes, all the back and forth that takes place in the sale of a jersey. It's funny because now I get tagged in all the posts that wind up that long about drama. At the end of the day, I don't really understand why there's drama. You've got, as a seller, you know what your bottom line price is that you would sell it for, and the threshold that you won't go any lower. As a buyer, you know how high you're willing to go. Have a frank conversation. If those two things don't intersect, then you don't have a deal, and move on. Mm-hmm. That's it. And that's kind of where, coming back to that thread, Derek, that's the thing that kind of threw me off, is I just couldn't understand the need for that.
The snide remark.
Right, exactly. Because at the end of the day, if the person doesn't want to pay the amount that you're asking, okay, fine. If the person has better luck selling it elsewhere, then you weren't willing to pay enough to purchase the item. And if the person can't get that number, then they're either not going to make the sale or they're going to have to drop the price. It's a fairly straightforward act. It's funny. I get a lot of questions on when I list jerseys. People saying, "Well, what's your best price?" I'm saying my best price is what I listed it for, because I don't go back and forth. I'm not here to bicker. I don't play games. It's listed for what it costs, and if you don't want to pay that, cool.
Can I just say something? I think we need to establish right now that Bobby is too smart for this radio show. You're making arguments based off of rationality, and I don't think you understand this is the way. It doesn't work that way, Bobby. Give me a break. How can you be rational and collect game-worn jerseys at the same time? You see?
Boy, that you're not wrong about that. I get so caught up in my own irrationality sometimes that I have to, like, on the things that I'm really looking for. So, like, when you look for a grail, I have a spreadsheet of, like, things I want, and I write down when I'm not thinking about it, if I'm not on the hunt, what I'm willing to pay, so that when it gets in the moment, I don't get ahead of myself and, like, make some ridiculous, get out of hand because I must have the item in the moment. I know what you mean. It can spiral out of control.
Well, that might be, you might have said something there that when these rants go on, when you see them, usually you see them after the auctions. I don't think people that want the jersey or something for less than what the seller wants to sell it for, I wonder how much research they did into it. Have they tracked how much time that jersey sold and what it sells for in the secondary market?
Let's talk about some of the stuff that happened on that exact same thread. So that jersey once sold for a much cheaper price at auction a large amount of time ago. Now,
which jersey is this, though? Out of curiosity.
New York Rangers Kasperitis.
Okay, so wait. Now I'm curious. What year was it?
It was
what was it, like 2008?
It was
2008 or 2012 or something like that.
No. It was
3 or 4.
It was a CCM. Yeah,
it was a 2003, 2004 Kasperitis.
Oh, I was going on
sold for
auction. Yeah.
Okay. I have not seen this thread. What is it? A patch jersey?
No.
Is it a playoff jersey?
I don't.
No, it says 2003, 2004 Darren Kasperitis Rangers game-worn jersey, team letter. That's it. No patches.
Any wear? Any repairs?
Looks like a little bit from the pictures they took.
I would just say the value for me. I just, as an average Joe, I like around US dollars, around like, I don't know, $800, maybe $900 to $1,000.
So like 3,000 Canadian.
Okay, actually, it's like 13. Okay, we're not gonna have that fucking conversation.
No, okay. No.
Hey, the value of currency. How about that?
Curiosity.
So
Nobody wants the Canadian dollar.
So right there, that's the value that Marco puts on this.
Yeah, that's my value.
And I'm not an expert on Kasperitis jerseys, that time period. I don't know that, so I would defer more toward people that know that thing. But when in this thread, the guy's putting up said, "Oh, look, this one sold in this auction for this much. This one sold in this auction for this much." Yeah, but I don't know what the dates of those auctions are. And I was talking to Derek and whoever else was on before we went live with this. And I said, you've got to look, and even to the gentleman that started this thread, I talking to him last night about it, I said, you've got to base it beyond just that screenshot of when that sold. If that sold when the economy as a whole was in the shitter, that plays a role in what you're spending on jerseys. Because I guarantee you, all of us, if the economy sucks and our job is questionable or our this or that or whatever, if the economy's in the toilet, people are spending less money on that shit.
Right.
If it's like it is now, when you're making ass tons of money in the market, you're much more likely to spend money on things. So auction values, I take with a grain of salt a lot of times. There's all kinds of other factors at play. It's if the auction's not advertised well and you have 10 people watching it, that particular jersey, those 10 people may not have any interest in it, and somebody picked it up because it was cheap.
You got to tell me what the previous sale price was and what this dude wanted for it. Now I'm just really curious.
What was it? Was it 2010 or 2012 or something like that?
It can't have been 20. Kasparaitis.
It was no. Like he's talking about the sale date. The auction date was 2013. I think November 2013, if memory serves.
It sold for $500 at auction before Hammer, and he wanted $3,000 now.
Wow.
Now,
but you know what?
Mind you, the guy who said he was crazy was also willing to pay $1,500 for that jersey.
Yeah, because Rangers collectors are out of their fucking minds. Sorry, they are.
First and foremost, he's not referencing the photo and saying, "I'll give you $500," which is what you paid back in this time. So
Right.
we're already talking about economies, right? The other part of that is, now I don't watch the market, but I have seen a handful of people already looking for Kasparaitis jerseys. Why they're looking for Kasparaitis jerseys, I don't know. But as more people come into the hobby and want a Kasparaitis jersey that they don't make anymore because he doesn't play anymore, the price will go up based on the demand.
You're right. And there's a finite number of those comparing to somebody currently where people are paying ass tons of money for, like Austin Matthews. You're cranking those out like a damn printing press, where we know there are, I don't know how many there would be out there now, but this many Kasparaitis jerseys, this many per team, that's it.
Well,
Some will never get out of collectors' hands. Some may, some more show up at auction. But again, as the owner of the jersey, and you can put whatever price you want on that jersey. And some of the conversation got into emotional attachments, and it went both ways. In some cases, people own a jersey that they have a more emotional attachment to it, and it's going to, if anybody asks them to sell it, they're going to put it in a higher price. The same way, Derek, I think you were the one that even put this in here, is you see people posting all the time, I'm looking for a jersey from this game. The reason they're asking for that game is because either some event happened to them, they were at it, some reason ties them to that particular game.
No,
so they're going to pay a premium.
Exactly. So to everybody else, it might be a $500 jersey. To the person who owns that jersey, it could be a $1,000 jersey. And the person who wants it because of that scenario, he might be willing to pay $2,000 because of the sentimental value that represents it. The thing is, we don't always know who's out there as well.
Oh, we know that what we don't know sometimes is the person that offered X amount of dollars. Did they tell the person, hey, I know you want this much money for the jersey, I'm willing to offer this, and based on this reason, by my research, or what I think the jersey is valued, and if the person agrees or disagrees, then
the market in here with these jerseys, there are so many just different intricacies that can go on with the jersey that can adjust what people are willing to pay. That research is fine and good and all if you're trying to play out trends, but unless you're actually observing everything that's going on in the market, it's hard to really gather it together. And that's why, people, when they say, oh, I wish there was a Beckett buyer's guide to GameWorn jersey, it's like, hold the fuck on. You can't, because every single one of these is unique. Unfortunately, they are unique. Even when you get down to special event jerseys where they have 3 per period. Centennial Classic, period 1, period 2, period 3. Oh, well, the first period, the player had 5 minutes time on ice. In the second period, he had 15 minutes time on ice. He had a goal and an assist. And then in the third period, he had a fight and 7 minutes of time on ice because he had a fight. It's like all these factors play. You know, what do you think is going to be the one that goes for the most? The one that had 5 minutes time on ice, or the one that had points played in it, or the one that had a fight and might be ripped up and torn up? So I mean, each one of them is unique.
Right.
Every attribute about it is unique. To me, that is a good sign of like fine art situation where you can attempt to forecast it based on similar market sales. It's like a house, similar market sales, but there may be underlying factors that always affect the price every single time.
Fine art's
Every
a little
single
bit
time.
different. Fine art, you're going for real, true one-offs. Like original paintings, there's no original painting set two. You know, it's a little bit different.
Hey, this jersey I have over here of this player's first gold jersey, he doesn't have any other first gold jerseys.
No, okay. First goal, first painting. I understand. That the artist is like the player. I get. No, there are a lot of striking similarities, but I mean,
Maybe
I
there
think
was an epic
is
historical
really-
game that happened in this thing, that shit that we haven't seen before. Maybe Trevor Gillies is wearing a jersey and he's standing in the fucking corner about ready to step on the ice and nail the guy that he just put an elbow to his chin, and everybody's pissed off about him.
Well, maybe this is a good time to pivot relative to this to the topic that is the reason this thread got to be so long, which is the etiquette. Because the reason this blew up was not, look, sometimes you're going to differ, and the best thing to do in an ideal world is just to be civil about it and just say, okay, fine, we don't agree. There's no deal to be made right now. Let me know if you change your mind later. But that's not what often happens, and that's certainly not what happened in this situation. And we only know this because the two people involved in the exchange decided to post their IM exchange.
Their comments.
Yes. So I'll read it for the listeners.
This is awesome.
The person messaged and said, this is potential buyer says, are you serious about selling your Casper or no? Potential seller says, yes, 3K. Potential buyer says, Monopoly money maybe. Isles Fisherman Casper doesn't even go for 3K. Rangers go for 800 to 1200 on Casper normally. Let me know when you come back to Earth. Okay. Well, that's the first.
And I think most of us can agree that was a pretty asshole comment.
That was the first shot across the bow, right? That is not a comment that you make without expecting some kind of a retort, usually.
You know what? Here's the thing I don't get about what that guy does. Are you
Yes.
really interested in purchasing the jersey when you make a fucking dickhead comment like that?
Well, so here's what I think it is. I think that he probably was interested if he could have had it in that price range. But I think he was so in the moment frustrated that he was at best $1,800 away from this selling price that he made a comment.
He said I'm never going to get it. Fuck it.
That's what he did. That's exactly right. And so the response he got from the seller was, let me know when you take your head out of your ass as you're looking for something you can't find. Try to buy one later, goofball. And it went from there. So
I like the goofball comment.
But you know
Who
what?
says
And
that
I
anymore?
don't.
Goofball.
And maybe everybody else will disagree with me. And I'll admit I'm friends with the owner of the jersey. But you know what? He had every right at that point to make those kind of comments because the other guy was a total asshole. If he just said, you know what, we're far apart on price, can we negotiate some more? And even if the owner would have said, you know what, I'm 3,000's it. You know what? Then you say, okay, thanks. If you ever change your mind or change price, whatever, let me know.
Who was the seller?
Move the fuck on. End of story.
What was the seller's name?
what is his name?
David.
There
We'll
you
call
go.
him David.
David, that's fine.
And it's out there. He doesn't care. He was trying to get on the call. That's the one with all the kids.
Yeah.
We can hear in the background. He's trying to get back on his Wi-Fi crapped out.
See, this is why the jersey's $3,000 because this guy's got like 12 fucking kids he needs to house and feed.
He's only got a couple.
It was like
That's
a bachelor.
economics, It's
He's
economics.
only got a couple.
I'll tell you what, this podcast is good for a lot of things. I don't know that it's going to be a great place to come here and like air your own dirty laundry. Probably not a great thing to do. But
Let me tell you about a similar situation I had, right? So way early on in my collecting days, I was lucky enough to nab a pretty desirable jersey of a player that is damn expensive to get on the Red Wings, McCarty, right? And like you can't get McCarty these days for like under $2,500. At least if you do, I'll buy one. Especially if it's white. I don't have a white one. But anyway, so McCarty's, they don't come up often. When they come up, they sell. And I had a guy who, ironically, I'm now pretty good friends with, and we've done multiple deals since. And I was new at the time. He comes up and he says, "I'll give you $450 for that jersey." I was like, "Fuck no." He's like, "Are you high? You must be on drugs or something." And he starts going off on me about how I value the jersey too much and it's not worth that. And he's bought like 3 other jerseys for $450, right? I'm like, that's cool. And like, we get in this little spat and I block him or he blocks me or something. I don't fucking remember, right? But that happened. And later he unblocks me or I unblock him or something, and we talk again and everything's kosher. And we kind of laughed about it after the fact, because I was like, "Hey, you remember that time that you offered me $450 for my McCarty Red Wing?" And he's like, "I don't, but no." So we kind of joked about it a little bit, but come to find out, the jersey that he was referencing buying for $450 was a McCarty Calgary Flames jersey, which, yeah, you can buy those for $450. A McCarty Red Wings, you can't buy for $450. So, I mean, we had this little exchange. It got heated. People blocked each other. After time went on, we got over it. Or at least they got over it. I don't exactly remember how it happened, but it's like one of those situations where the shit didn't have to go down. And it's like,
Yeah.
you never really know. Like, you're comparing apples and oranges. So he's comparing this Islanders jersey to a Rangers jersey, which he was comparing a Calgary Flames jersey to a Red Wing jersey of the same player. Completely different market, completely different, we'll just say market value. But I mean, it goes to show you that that's just kind of the nature of the beast. Just because you see things exchanging hands for X amount of prices doesn't equate across the board.
But I think what that comes back to, though, the disagreements on price and the
etiquette,
myriad of different ways you can go about doing your research are one thing. The thing that this comes back to me is like, I'll just put it simply, you don't have to be an asshole. You don't have to make comments like that. You don't need backhanded comments. If we could just get away from folks doing that. There's nothing quicker. I don't usually block people. But if I'm at a sale and somebody wants to make a comment like that, I just move on. I won't answer any more messages. It's just like the conversation has lost any value. It's not going to go anywhere constructive. I don't have time. I don't want to spend any time of my day bickering with somebody. It's just, I think...
Well, and almost everybody in that post, as I've skimmed through that, nobody is, other than the one guy, is bitching at Derek's comments. Nobody is bitching at David, who posted it originally saying, "You guys were both wrong. It's bullshit. I can't believe it went down that way." Everybody is now almost, guaranteed, probably going to blackball this other guy because they've seen how shitty this whole thing got. Because even when it was originally posted, he put it out there as, "Hey, I had this thing happen. What do you guys think?" Never called out who was wanting to buy it, anything. The buyer did that to, or the potential buyer did that to himself.
That's the thing I would tell people. If somebody's going to sell in a jersey and you think it's too high and you offer something and you don't come to agreement, ask somebody else. Message somebody else who you know collects Ranger jerseys and say, "Hey, am I off the line? Am I too high, too low? Whatever," and get another opinion. And then you just,
or
maybe
you could not give a fuck because you're not willing to sell it for lower than that.
Well, I actually do that more as a buyer. Like, I think one of the best things, I mean, we talk all the time, the best thing about this hobby is the people, right? I haven't come across anything that I wanted to buy, especially if it's a higher dollar item. If it's lower dollar, don't worry so much about it. But if I really need to think carefully about what should I pay for this, first thing I do is go find people I think might know and go ask them. There are some really, really great people in this hobby who spent a lot more time than they ever owed anybody, let alone me, sitting there helping me figure out what I should pay for something. Like, the community is really helpful for that. And if you approach it the right way, you can not only build much better relationships with people, but also make really informed decisions.
I agree to a certain extent, but man, amongst I'm not saying I'm a hardcore collector, but I mean, some people I talk to, if giving up too much information if they know the jersey kind of exists in the hobby. You know what I mean?
I know
it sounds
exactly what you mean.
ridiculous.
No, you're right.
Sometimes that's the truth.
Yep.
Well, that could happen. Then you just learn not to,
I don't know.
That's not who to ask.
The thing about
I think-
etiquette is you can push people so far on etiquette as well, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can go 50 rounds with somebody before I start snapping a shithole at them because they're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And I say 50 rounds is a pretty lengthy thing, especially when it takes, 9 hours to get through those 50 rounds. I feel that I'm pretty patient. And when it gets to the end of that and we got nowhere because you have no intellectual common sense, it doesn't seem to be my problem, so I'll let you know that. But I also believe that I am willing to help people as well. I've had people message me on numerous occasions to assist them in things. I've reached out to people that might need my assistance. Now sometimes I reach out to people and they try to shit on my face at the same time, and then I don't go 50 rounds with them. I go 1 round with them and I end it, and then they cry. But that's just the nature of the beast. It's like how you handle every situation. And everybody handles situations differently.
I think Derek just uncovered the intro audio for this podcast. It's his quote about people shitting on his face.
Ooh, I should have been recording that. We can definitely chop that up.
It is recorded, man. It's recorded.
I know you are. So make sure you pull that section out. We'll make it as a good drop there.
I'm into some kinky shit.
But I think you're right. I mean, I think that's a great point, Derek. I mean, it comes down to how you. I'll talk all day long. If somebody wants to ask questions about something I'm selling, I'll talk all day long. It's in a million pictures, and if at the end of the day we don't make a deal, no problem. But it's when you cross that line and start being,
a douche.
Yeah.
Things that'll set people off is entitlement. So you thinking that I have to sit here and answer your questions. For me, another thing that sets me off is because I'm an admin, you think that I have to take your shit. I don't have to take your shit. We used to be in a culture where people would respect admins because they didn't want to get banned, so they wouldn't cross lines with them. And we've gradually shifted over to this culture of the customer's always right bullshit on forums where admins can't treat me this way and they have to do my bidding and do what I tell them to do and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, fuck that. Now
you are entitled. You are entitled not to take their shit.
I don't take anybody's shit, and then when I don't take their shit, they consult the other admins, and then I tell the other admins, I'm not in the business of shit taking. That's just how it is. I mean, I don't. And you have people
guys? Why are we lowering ourselves to this level of internet radio? As sad as that sounds, why are we talking about everyone's feelings? Fuck it, who cares, man? Just get over it and look at your real jerseys and have a good time, man. Like, why are the people probably arguing that like we're like 30-year-olds like discussing like what teenagers are bickering about on the GameWorn jersey form. Like, fuck, who gives a fuck?
We got some mad props coming in from Eric Brookhauser for Bobby Eagle for helping him greatly in deciding what to offer another Canes collector on a jersey, and he ended up getting it. So mad props to Bobby Eagle for the apples.
Always happy to help, Eric.
And see, those are the kind of things that I think a lot of us like doing. Is I get a lot of the newer people that are in the blues hobby, either buying sticks, gloves, whatever, reach out to me and say, hey, I got somebody that's got this. What do you think it's worth? And I say, hey, you know what? It's in this range. Give me some more information. And like somebody asked me about a Tarasenko stick. I said no more than 150. And he thought the guy was actually surprised that I was kind of low. I'm like, because he uses a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I said, don't get tied to because it's Tarasenko. Look how many sticks are floating out there. If it was a jersey or a helmet or some things that there aren't as many of, okay, you're going to have a higher price to it. It's a stick. And you don't know if it was practice used, game used, whatever. And I try and be very analytical with people and all. And I get a lot of people, too, sending me pictures of jerseys. Is this real or is it a knockoff? Things like that.
How does
some
this
of even
look?
the newer.
This looks funny.
Some even the newer ones. The Adidas ones are starting to show up out there. And some of them are looking pretty good, too. to hard. It's not terribly hard, but it's still people that don't look at those all the time aren't. But you know what? I have no problem with people messaging me, say, "Hey, do you have it?" And if I can do it right then, I'll say, "Hey, give me a minute. Let me dig up a couple things." And if I'm busy with whatever, I'll say, "Hey, I'll have to get back to you a little bit later." And I don't. Nobody has screwed me over or treated me crappy for that. But I also like the fun part about this hobby is educating people.
Right.
I don't like seeing other people screwed. I can't afford every jersey or buy every jersey. If people are wanting to buy something and they want to come to me to get my opinion, you know what? That's great. I'm not going to be the ass and go behind their back and buy it when they're trying to get it. I mean, I can't play that way because then you're burning bridges.
Yep.
I'll be serious for a second. I think you hit the nail on the head, man. The fun part about the hobby is learning about the hobby. Yeah. It's seeing something you've never seen before, and they wore this patch at this time, and this player, exhibits more wear on his jerseys, and then passing that information along. That's a rewarding part of the hobby.
Well, and I think the operative word that you just used is learning. Not to take us on another thread, but I think one of the things that happens a lot, especially, Doc, you just described it. If you collect a specific team, like some of us do, I get people that reach out that expect me to want to do their homework for them. And that is actually different from learning. I'd rather teach you to fish than give you the fish. And so that means sometimes I'm going to show you where to go look for something rather than just tell you, they wore this then, these were the set dates, this is the type of repair to look for, this is, they use this many sets this season, this is how many all this information, I have it because I researched it publicly. You can go find, for the most part, you can go find it. And so I think that's a big challenge is kind of striking that balance and make, because that's the other way that this hobby will continue is if we share this knowledge base of not just what the information is, but how to find it yourself.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's the biggest thing about this hobby, right? And building resources to store that information.
Yeah. So people out there are keeping records of this stuff. Photo matches, video matches, whatever you got.
Well, I think back to the old forum days when I believe it was Milt Byron, his signature lock at the bottom of his any post he would make was "do your homework." Like that was the mandate. That was the thing that everyone knew they needed to do. And I just feel like people have just so
forgotten what?
They've misplaced it.
No, it's because everything is set tag now.
Because everything's done for them. Migrate does it for them.
Right. And there's something wrong with
nuts,
that.
Man. That drives me
There's
nuts.
only something wrong with that if these people are buying jerseys that, are from the 90s or the 80s or the 70s.
Right.
And
even
then
some of that shit can be wrong, though.
It's true, yeah.
And it's still do your research because some of that shit can still be wrong. I don't care if it has a tag on it or not. And that is the problem that we're getting into this new era where everything's issued with an LOA and everything's issued with a set tag or whatever. And it's like collectors won't even buy something that new collectors won't even buy something that have
that's a good
LOA.
That's a good problem to have, Derek. Come on, give me a break.
Here's the thing.
Yeah,
if it had
back
an
to
LOA
days
once and the
when
LOA gets
jerseys
lost, it doesn't diminish the value of the jersey because the jersey's still the jersey, man. It's like I want to fucking burn every LOA. Not right now, but sometimes I do because of how people position them and say they create value. It's like,
and I've seen a lot of those posts lately, and I don't know if it's younger collectors that, my God, that paper means everything. But if it's got a set stamp in it, okay, you know what? Then it's also a valid game jersey. And Derek, as you said, and we've all seen it, is set dates have been wrong a lot.
Yeah,
with the way the Wings do theirs, I've seen some stuff with the Blues. Other teams where they ended up carrying it over, or they did some weird shit, and the dates don't line up. But there you have a Getty Images photo match, and it's 2 weeks after they were supposed to quit wearing it, or 2 weeks before, or whatever. But we see that. But doing your research and then reaching out to others, if you think you find a photo match, since other people say, "Hey, what do you think?" And everybody may agree. Some people say, I'm not quite sure. But we use each other for good research, and then as we see these things come up, we can put that out there and say, "Hey,
so in 20 years, when a Leafs guy is buying one of my jerseys that I used to own, and he sees I think we're missing the point on LOAs, man. I think LOAs can add value.
Does it come with a hologram, Mario? That's all I care about. Or do all of your jerseys have holograms? That's all I care about.
I would not want. Okay, are we going to have a serious conversation or no? I wouldn't want a hologram on a GameWorn jersey. That's ridiculous, obviously. But if you're taking two jerseys that look identical and one has an LOA and one doesn't, and the LOA has a photo reference or something, For me, the jersey with more value is the one with the LOA.
Okay.
Sorry.
How about this?
I don't know how you look at it.
You got a jersey that's clean as fuck and it has an LOA, and then you have a jersey that's beat up that you've matched to a player wearing it in 15 games.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that, man. I said two very similar jerseys. And on top of that, you're counting on you keeping that jersey for the rest of your life. You probably won't. And there's a good chance you're going to sell it to someone who might not have a single fucking idea about what the repairs were that year or anything like that, and the value for them is the LOA. So if you're ever going to sell your jersey again, you better value an LOA because it's going to come in handy for you later on down the road, maybe 10, 20, 30 years down the road. Could be tied to a player.
I think to Marco's point, I think it is a helpful piece of the puzzle. In some cases, it can help be the tipping point whether or not a sale gets made. I look back, I was just going through my binder of LOAs, and some of them are crappy and some of them are decent. But the ones I particularly like, at the very least, for someone like this is I don't know if you can see it. This is an old Spirit of the Game Drop the Pucks LOA for a Whaler jersey I have. It's Paul Ranheim. It's my favorite player, but not a prolific player or anything. And it's a jersey that doesn't have a lot of wear, and it was certainly before they had serial numbers or anything of the sort. And so it just explains this is the game wear on the jersey. This so that if the jersey if I ever sold it, which I bought this one in 2004, I'm probably not going to sell it. If I ever did, you could tell this LOA at least goes with the jersey. It's
with that specific jersey.
But Bobby, you know what? I also have a Spirit of the Game Drop the Pucks LOA, and for me, when I read over that LOA, the amount of time that Rich Ellis, who was who led Spirit of the Game and Drop the Pucks, took the time to really write them out professionally, and you felt like, wow, now I own a piece of something that someone has invested some significant amount of time into. There's value in that. It's not just saying, I have a photo match jersey. Like, what the fuck do we need the LOA for? It's not about that. Missing the point.
Here's the thing: is that type of LOA isn't just an LOA. It's an LOA that proves research. Here is the research behind the jersey. It's more than just an LOA. It is the research. Would you agree?
I don't think it is the research. I think it is a testament to the characteristics of the jersey. It says nothing about photo matching provenance. It says nothing about anything else related to the jersey other than the facts. It is a CCM Ultrafill size 54.
So it's
the right sleeve
generic.
has light stick mark and burn. It's
describing the jersey itself and saying, I believe this to be authentic.
It links the jersey to the letter. So what I'm saying is, in the absence of a hologram or a serial number, at least I know that this LOA goes with the jersey. At the end of the day, the LOA to me remains to be a component to help kind of discern where a jersey came from, but you have to do a lot more homework than that. And I agree with Marco. I do. When I see this, I'm like, oh, well, you know what? I do appreciate the fact that a lot of work went into just putting this together, and it does help the overall presentation of the jersey as a sellable item.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point too, presentation, because I have a lot of friends that don't know anything about game-worn jerseys, but they see and read that LOA, and they're like, wow, for them, it enhances it for them. And you can't just always be talking to people that are appreciating your game-worn jersey because they're a game-worn collector themselves.
Not everyone. High dollar fakes with multiple LOAs.
Yes.
Yes, we have.
Yes.
High dollar
LOAs added a lot of value to those jerseys.
Didn't we just call out one a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Well, actually, you're not incorrect. I mean, it did. Maybe for the wrong reasons, unfortunately, but it still did. You must admit. So you can't say they have zero value.
I mean, research is always paramount, and I'm always going to position you like I'll take research over an LOA every day.
Of course. I don't think anyone's disputing that.
Yeah.
And if you have the research behind the jersey, there's no point for the LOA.
I have never made a jersey buying decision because a jersey had an LOA or because it didn't.
Right.
Same here.
Yeah.
I
for
ask.
sure.
I ask about it. If it has one, great. If it doesn't, but I'm not buying a Wayne Gretzky jersey. So
That I can totally agree on. Otherwise, I wouldn't have my
how
Paul
about
coffee,
this?
and I love this Paul coffee.
That's a nice piece, by the way. I love
My
that jersey.
coffee's the same way. Yep, I hear
I
you.
want your Paul
Y'all
coffee
got some
too,
coffee
by
stuff.
the way.
My coffee is happy in its home.
Yeah, would
Hey,
you sell
so
it for
how about
$2,000?
this? You want to talk about etiquette?
So it doesn't have any value then?
Greg,
My asking price exceeds your personal value on it.
Derek, etiquette. How's this for etiquette?
You can't have that value.
This.
I love it when things
have
come
a
full
My
circle.
Great GameWorn jersey. Where's your LOA with it? Oh, you don't have the LOA. Sorry, I'll offer you $50 less than I would have normally. There you go. There's your etiquette and the LOA all in one. Booyakasha.
And let me throw my personal value on there and give you a nope. All right, so hey, I think that was a pretty good and helpful discussion. Hopefully, newer collectors that might be listening to the show. I hope new collectors listen to the show. I mean, granted, we shit on people all the time, specifically Marco and his Canadian dollar, but I think there's things of
that's
value
ridiculous.
that we can get out of this, and hopefully they reach out to people that are willing to help, and hopefully the people willing to help and assist and share knowledge make it known that they're around. I mean, clearly we're making it known that we're around. I do want to announce or talk about TimberGraphs. You guys know TimberGraphs?
No, actually.
Of course you don't know
it's
TimberGraphs because they're pretty goddamn new. No, TimberGraphs, they're pretty cool. There's some guys that I saw. For a friend, they made a wooden cutout by hand on a bandsaw looking thing of a signature of a player of somebody's fan. And I was like, yo, that's sweet. Can you do more? And they're like, yeah. So I struck up a deal with TimberGraphs to help them out in getting their product out there. They will cut by hand signatures of players out of wood, sand them, finish them, and send them to you. And we've got some pictures on our website of samples, and we've got an order form and everything. It takes them a little time to do it, so the lead time on them is like 7 to 10 business days.
So they're forging autographs
No.
into wood.
No.
You're advocating for people forging autographs, Derek.
Yeah, totally, because
Can't support this.
you can definitely paste, this signature wooden thing on an official document, and they'll take it for sure. No, they're pretty cool
do they
display
come with
items.
LOAs?
Yeah, no. What are you going to LOA? What are you talking about, Marco? No, if you hit the website, though, one of the first articles we have is about it, and it's pretty sweet. The one that I have a picture of up there is the Steve Yzerman one, and it's all
sick.
Are you looking at it?
Yeah, it's sick. I was kind of puzzled when you described it. I was like, I don't know if that.
I don't know the words
to
describe it, but it's cool. It's a wooden signature of the player, right? And
the
with
Gordie
that
Howe is the
specific
coolest one.
Oh, you like the Gordie Howe? Yeah, we
Oh
didn't
my
get a
God.
picture of that one with I like the picture I like is the one with the Steve Yzerman and Gordie Howe picture, and then below it is the signature. That's cool. That can just enhance your displays. People that like to put them in frames, your jerseys in frames. Imagine having the signature of the player below the jersey frame. It's a cool idea, and they price them reasonably, I think, based on the time they put in, because everything's hand cut and it's priced based on complexity. So my Luke Glendening that I'm having them make, Luke Glendening signature is real swoopy but short. So I was able to get it cheaper than some of the other ones that are a little bit more detailed. Yzerman's is a big signature with a lot of loops and cutouts and holes. And what these guys, they take the time to analyze the signature and plan it out. So, sometimes there will be spacing in between the elements. So what's a good way to connect the spacing to fit it onto the wooden material, the media, and everything that they have so far just looks super sweet. And every so often they'll send me a picture of something that they're working on the bandsaw or whatever, and just there's some super cool stuff. So if you guys get a chance, take a hop over to the website, check out TimberGraphs. That's what they call themselves. It's pretty awesome. I cannot wait for mine. I'm super excited.
So, I have a wet blanket question. Are the players getting a cut of this?
I knew that was gonna fucking be a question. I knew it.
I looked up the legalities of it, and a signature or autograph is not a copyright piece.
But
Okay, so then fair.
It's the player's likeness, though, right?
The signature itself is not the player's likeness unless it's a famous, like a trademarkable signature, which was like John Hancock. But for famous people in general, where their signature doesn't mean anything other than like autographs and general stuff, like John Hancock's is a different situation because of the evolution of it. There was this huge article I read. I like did this entire thing, and they were even equating it to you can stencil and trace over somebody's autograph and paste it on something, like say an author of a book. They didn't sign the book, but you can legally put your thing in the book and sell the book. And you obviously can't say this person signed it, but you can say it's auto-penned or stenciled or whatever the hell you need to say, and it's legit. And the second part of that is art. Art.
In all fairness, does anyone really believe the player should get a cut?
Fuck no.
No, I'm just asking whether or not these guys are going to get a cease and desist letter later on.
I don't think it's.
Yeah.
I mean, all the people at the art fairs that make like art of professional teams would be donezo too. Art has a different leeway. I looked it all up. It's fun.
These look really cool.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, when I get my
They'll be
Glendenning,
different.
I'll show you guys.
You
I'm
putting on your
super
locker?
stoked.
You putting on your locker?
You know, I was gonna hang it like in my little office nook here that I have. So, what do you guys have going on in the GameWorn world?
Oh, for any Toronto collectors that are interested, there is a small but fanatical Toronto GameWorn little mini expo going on at a bar. It's just the first gathering, I guess, and it's a lot of collectors that you wouldn't normally see on Facebook or GameWorn.net. So if anyone's interested, they can reach out to me directly, Marco Durakis on Facebook, on any of the normal
If
Facebook
anybody
games.
just posts asking about Marco, we'll know what Marco, and especially if you say like 68-cent Canadian Marco, we'll know for
It's
sure too.
actually at 80 cents on the US dollar, so it's doing quite well.
Whatever.
Good job. Good job, Marco.
Yeah.
They know what I'm trying to say, and they'll know how to position that you're the Marco they're looking for. You're the
Damn you.
Marco they're looking for.
Damn you to hell.
With all your Glendale.
Oh, what the hell? There was something else I was going to say. Does somebody else have anything going on until I remember what I was going to say?
I was surprised, and I posted them in some of the groups. I don't know if everybody saw them. Anybody that saw the sale that the Caps did on jerseys, everything from just basic practice
You didn't
jerseys
even tell
to
me
training
about it.
camp. Every single one of them had a sticker on the inside, nice reflective sticker with a number, and everything came with a COA, even just a generic practice jersey. I was surprised to see that. Most teams don't screw with that, but each had their own serial number. For training camp, I've seen some teams do it, game jerseys, of course, but yeah, just even the blank practice jerseys.
But I think we're good with them being on the inside, right? No one will argue against that, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Listen, man, I want them like massive, as big as the numbers, and placed over top of the numbers. That's
Over
the
top of
only
the
way you're
crest.
going to be able to prove to me it's real.
You know what was cool, though, Derek?
Gigantic hologram.
To that point, one of the things I actually did think was cool was like in the 06 time frame when the Red Wings had those serial numbers on the outside of the jersey by the NHL logo. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, and you could photo match the jerseys too. I used to have a couple of those, and I miss them actually. And I've seen a couple of them pop up recently.
That was really cool.
Yeah, the NHL quashed that pretty quick.
Yeah, NHL.
Oh, what I was going to say. For people in the Syracuse area, I'll be going to the games on the 26th and 27th, so hit me up. Look for me. 27th, Got some meetings going on in Syracuse, but after, good for a chill until the game goes on. It'll be a good time.
Nice. Very cool.
What are we looking forward to next time, boys?
I think next time we might be able to get the.
Oh, Mark.
Yeah, we're gonna get the preview of the Winter Classic auction, which starts in February.
Cool.
So the hope is that Mark can join us and give us a preview. I'm excited like you are, Derek, because it's the Paul Coffey collection. For the longest time, I had nothing from Paul Coffey. He was one of my favorite players growing up. He probably means something to all of us. It's going to be. I cannot wait to hear what's in this thing.
This jersey I have would have been in that if Sean didn't get it and then sell it to me. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Nice.
What the classic auctions?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, I have Paul Coffey gloves and helmet. I'm moving, so
I
plastic's
can't afford
great,
it.
but
$20.
You have too much personal value attached to it, Marco.
Yeah, I know.
What team's the helmet, Marco?
It's it's helmet and gloves. They're both photo matched, and they're from his Kings days in the playoffs.
Got it.
I get the
What
helmet
are you
has the
looking for
Gretzky
it?
sticker. I'd be looking probably around $750 American for the set.
I'll give you $750 Canadian.
No, I don't know about that.
I guess it has no value then.
Oh my God, this is a good way to end the show.
We're gonna buy a dictionary for Derek, and that's gonna solve all these issues.
Yeah, I think we should.
What? He doesn't have a buyer right now, so it has no value.
I haven't seen it for sale. How do we know we don't have a buyer?
Yeah, exactly. Well, according to Derek, if I believe it's worth $1 million, then it will come through.
Do you see the dilemma here?
If you believe it, it will happen.
That's right. If you price it, they will pay.
No, man.
All right, boys. So 2 weeks. 2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks,
2
hey?
weeks.
All right. Let
Let's
me know
do it.
about Mark. We'll see about getting him on. We'll try and get him going with the whole Skype thing because I know it can be difficult for some people.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So I messed up and I don't have any outro audio. So
You're fired.
yeah.
Add it in post.
Added in post. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. All right, well, people out there, the 9 people that are still watching us right now for absolutely no reason at all, thanks for sticking with us. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.